Hi, so my name's Noah Schwartz. I'm a contract instructor and PhD candidate in the Department of Political Science at Carleton. The course I'm teaching is my first year seminar in public policy. So I had about 30 first year students, undergraduate students in my class, and they came from a variety of backgrounds, from political science, other social sciences, even some science students. And the point of the course was really to introduce them to the basic concepts of public policy and then how to apply those concepts to real world issues. The other emphasis of the course is teaching the students the important study skills, research skills, writing skills that they're going to need over the next 4 years, as well as beyond that in their careers. Brightspace was completely new to me. I'm actually a relatively new contract instructor. I only had about 2 courses under my belt before this, which I think actually turned into an advantage because I wasn't too sort of stuck in my ways using CU Learn. And I was used to the ins and outs of learning a new learning management system. So I really just tried to approach Brightspace with as open a mind as possible, and really think about how to best use the medium to tell the story of my course. So for me, the biggest challenge of learning Brightspace was just getting over the initial culture shock. And I compare it to the concept of culture shock because when you travel, you get off the plane in a new city, everything's new, unfamiliar, you're not really sure of the social norms and things like that, and it can be confusing. Learning a new learning management system is much like that. Everything's new, it's exciting, but it can also be daunting. So the way I overcame that is really trying to, take a deep breath. I used the mantra that I always repeat to my students at midterm season. The mountain is always biggest when you're at the bottom looking up. And once you start climbing, it gets smaller and smaller. So that was really how I overcame it. Just, taking a deep breath and taking it one step at a time. By far, my favorite feature in Brightspace is the grading. It's much more intuitive and user-friendly than on CU Learn, and you're able to see a preview window of the student's assignment. So you don't actually have to go through and download every single student's assignment and open it in a separate file. This saves a whole bunch of clicks and ultimately a whole bunch of time. You can also record your feedback instead of writing it. And this is not only saves time, but also really helps students understand your feedback more. When a student is reading your feedback, they're missing really important social cues that can tell them about the tone of your voice. And this leads to room for misinterpretation and can trigger students' defensive bias. And as we know, when students are feeling defensive, they're not thinking about your feedback, they're feeling upset. I find when they can listen to your feedback, it provides a much better experience for the student. And not only that, but it saves you time. So it's more effective and takes less time. Another thing I love about Brightspace is how easy it is to create beautiful visual pages. I'm a very visual learner, and I found one of the things I struggled with the most with CU Learn was how to make my page more appealing for students and more interesting. In Brightspace, it's easy. It's really easy to upload high quality images to your Brightspace page to make it really pop. And I've had a lot of great feedback from my students on how much they love that element of Brightspace. My biggest advice to someone starting out in Brightspace is to approach creating your Brightspace page like you would a research project. When you start off on your research project, you don't have all the answers. And it's important to know how to identify resources and key people in your network that can help you out. So the first one in terms of resources, you have a whole bunch of resources right at your fingertips. Not only does the TLS support page have a bunch of help functions, but you can Google and YouTube. They're going to be your best friends. Carleton's not the first university to adopt Brightspace, and there's a whole bunch of resources out there on the World Wide Web that you can use. But sometimes those resources aren't going to be enough. Just like in a research project, you can get stuck and maybe the information you want to find isn't out there. So you need to identify people in your network that can help. Well, with Brightspace, that's very easy. Using the help function from your Brightspace page, you can actually go to the Brightspace support page. And there's a chat function where you can talk 24 hours with a Brightspace representative that can help answer your questions almost instantaneously. So really, there's no excuse to not be able to create a stellar Brightspace page with the amount of support that's out there. Learning a new learning management system is a humbling experience. And it really makes us feel like we're almost back at the beginning of our teaching career. But if we take advantage of that experience and that feeling, it can lead us towards a lot of new discoveries. One thing that I found has been really helpful is seeing my students not only as a consumer of my course, but as a resource. I've used the survey function in Brightspace to try to connect with my students, find out what they like and what they don't like. But going beyond the survey, discussing the results with your students and actually canvassing their feedback and advice on how to improve things is a really, really good way to not only make your students feel like they have buy-in in the course, but also to improve not only your Brightspace page, but other elements of your teaching as well.